Welcome back to Nuts on Cars. So today's video is a little bit different. No Porsches, but what we do have is a Renault Sport Clio 182 Cup. Now this is my friend Lloyd's car, and if you're into your cars you'll know that the Renault Sport range across the years have brought out some ridiculous hot hatches, and this is potentially one of the best, if not the best, pick of the bunch. So I wanted to come over, jump in it with him, and I've never personally driven one of these, or I've literally had a 2-second ride in a Clio 200, which over the years I've been very close to owning and wanting to own, and I will own one day. But yeah, the question really I want to answer today is, they're about the same money. £4,000 or £5,000 gets you a nice one of these, or a nice-ish 200. So which one do you go for? So here's Lloyd. Not your first Renault Sport, is it?
Not my first, no.
No. Talk me through your Renault Sport history.
So my first Renault Sport, I was 20 when I got it. It was a 200 Cup, it's 200 full fat. It had Recaros, it had a Miltech on it. That was a lovely car, liquid yellow. Lovely, really loved that car. I then had an R26R. Which was a bit of a brave choice for a daily, but I made it work. Did 10,000 miles in that car in 6 months, which was fine actually. Everyone would think it would be horrible, it was fine. And then I landed on a 200 Cup, standard Cup more recently. That I had, and that's gone now as well. But that was just a standard Cup, you know, no Recaros. It had 17-inch wheels, but it was as standard as it gets. You know, white. Really basic thing. But 3 years ago, my old man decided he wanted to sort of get in on the fast car again, or interesting car again. He hadn't had a car for a long time, and we just sort of decided actually what looks like a safe bet to put your money into, and it just looked, I think 2000s hot hatches. I just don't see that you can buy anything like this again in the future. So yeah, so we found this one. We wanted a car that presented itself nicely. We wanted a car with nice ownership, nice mileage. We didn't want anything that had been abused, because a lot of these cars have. But this is a nice one. It's been maturely owned. We feel its history is good, nice ownership, really tidy. It's semi-standard. It's had K-Tech induction kit and K-Tech rear section for the exhaust. Other than that, poly-bushed engine mounts. Other than that, it's a standard car. It's nice. It's nice. It's clean.
So mileage?
72 when we bought it, and it's now on 77. Okay. So it's kind of a garage. Well, it's not a garage clean, and it doesn't really come out in the rain. Obviously, there's other cars that we use, not a daily, but it's used properly when it does come out. You know, we enjoy it when it does come out. So. Did
it take you long to find one, or did you look at many? Because it is tough out there.
As it turns out, no. The first time I looked, I was scrolling through. I thought, whoever pictured it, it just goes to show how well a lovely photo and a lovely advert makes a car, you know, so appealing. So yeah, it had some lovely photos, really nice advert. We went to go and see it, and it was sat there in a lovely indoor unit, and it was just, that's the one. So
so spec wise, because these they do vary. Yep. It's colour French
racing blue.
Yep. With the white stripes.
Has to have the stripes. Some people remove the stripes, but I think that's sacrilege.
Yes, they've got to stay.
I insist on a stripe. It has to have a stripe.
Cup packs, because there's two you can have on this.
Yeah, so you can get the cup spoiler packs. The cup spoiler gives you a slightly more, not aggressive, because it's not aggressive, but you know, slightly larger spoiler on the back. Yeah. And then you've got essentially a piece of like plastic on the front as a front splitter, but you know. Yeah, and then the other cup pack was the suspension, the anthracite wheels. Well, so yeah, sits 10mm lower. I think that was it. I think it was just suspension. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so you paid what sort of money, if you don't mind me asking, for one of these?
So it was 4,000 back in 2017.
Yeah.
It was probably expensive at the time, but the good ones are the ones that appreciate, I suppose, aren't they? So,
it's not a bad place to put your money, is it really? I don't think that's not going anywhere, is it, money-wise?
Yeah, nice car with nice mileage, nice history, nice ownership. Lovely mint condition example. I can't imagine it's going to be worth less than £4 now.
Yeah, it's only going to get better, surely.
So,
there's a lot of rough ones out there that are eventually going to die, I guess. But
exactly.
Let's just have a quick look inside. Standard interior.
Completely standard.
Yeah, you can't get Recaro. They got Recaros, but you don't get the buckets in the 05 cars, do you? So
no, you don't get that. None of that stuff. They are quite comfortable, to be honest. They you know, they offer all the support you need. I like sort of all or nothing, really. I like to either have a completely standard car and a completely racer prep car, and this is a standard car with a couple of, you know, mechanical engine modifications, so to speak. The only modification is these have been hydro dipped because interiors are very common for peeling.
Yeah.
So these are made from a material that they peel horribly, as do the steering wheels.
In the sun, I think they burn, don't they? They literally like melt.
They bleed, so to speak.
So they call them,
And so this has been done by a steering wheel company at some point. I don't know who, but they've done a lovely job. These have been hydro dipped, again, not by us, but it's a lovely job. It's a carbon dip. It's all right, actually. It looks quite nice, really. So interiors generally don't really give many issues, to be fair. It's quite a
So has it been reliable? No trouble in your 5,000 miles?
The only thing we've had to do a set of coil packs, which 77,000 miles, I mean, whatever, it was gonna have to be done eventually. So we did spark plugged and coil packs while we were there. The only other thing it's had was a rear spring. Rear springs break eventually, you know, it's a usable component. You just have to be careful that you make sure you get factory and do your homework on your springs, because springs can be different. So you can be supplied from, it's very easy to buy the wrong spring. So they're marked. If you ever have a problem with a rear spring, take the old one off, take it to Renault as a main dealer and go, I want this spring. Because if you go to a motor factory or something, you'll probably end up with a different spring and it'll just be wrong. So you know, you don't want that. So
yeah, and the handling of this car is the main point, really, isn't it? So if you get that wrong, you're going to end up in a hedge.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's an important bit. But yeah, I just love the look of it. I think like it just throws you back to being, how old were we when this came out? Like 12. So
yeah. So what was it? I remember Top Gear, which is 53 plate car. It's a bit nerdy, but I've watched it. Haven't I?
I watched it. Yeah.
Clarkson's driving it round, you know, hammering it round, compares it to a puppy, and that's a 53 plate car. So we would have been, I would have been 11.
Yeah. It was in, like, we'd have been reading what, Evo, Autocar at the time.
Yeah,
YouTube wasn't really, it was Top Gear, wasn't it?
Before we had phones, you and me, we were reading Evo magazine, weren't we? You know, we didn't have Instagram to scroll through, and we were reading proper car reviews about proper cars by proper people, you know. Yeah. So hence why the Chris Harris, you know, we love the Chris Harris thing, and the Harry Metcalf. Yeah, Harry Metcalf's got one of these.
He's got a trophy, isn't he? He's
got a trophy, yeah.
With this fancy front dampers.
So they're Sachs front dampers.
Yeah.
They're liquid. Well, they're hydro dampers. I think they've got I'm not that technically minded with it, but they're very special.
They've got a liquid in.
They're very special dampers.
You have to get them like
fluid reservoir dampers.
There we go. You have to get them rebuilt, don't you? Every so many thousand miles. So
yeah.
But that's a special one. So there is a few models in this shape, but the big thing about this is a 2-litre engine in a car that weighs a ton.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like these days, that is just unheard of. Normally aspirated.
Yep.
Like old-fashioned, wring its neck.
You got to rev it. It's very easy to drive a lot of cars quickly these days. You've actually got to drive this. Anybody that's got one of these will know. You've got to work for your performance. There we go. You've got to work for the performance.
So is that a standard engine cover?
No, this has been hydro dipped.
I was going to say, yeah.
Hydro dips as well. So I think someone got a hydro dipping machine for Christmas.
Looks like it, doesn't it? They've dipped everything.
Yeah, but you'll notice here. So another common issue with Clios, engine mounts. So these have been power flexed. This can make the engine rock horribly when this fails. So it just feels like, you know, rocks about. It's just not very nice. So replace that with a polybush mount, and all is well. This has got a K-Tech induction kit. We bought it with it and a back.
So new camera has just died, unfortunately, so we switched to the iPhone, so apologies if the audio drops. I'm going to have to stand very close to you, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's all right.
But yeah, you were talking about Kanan.
So it's got the K-Tech induction kit. We didn't put that on, but it sounds nice, and why change it really? It doesn't hurt to have it. So little details like this I quite like. Again, didn't do that, but you know, it was just owned by an enthusiast, this car, and whoever owned it clearly loved it, because you know, they're in there with the toothbrush. I mean, it's almost dirty now, you could say.
There's a bit of dust there.
Dust there. It's shocking, really. But yeah, you know, we open the bonnet and it presents itself really well. As I say, anybody can drive a turbo car very quickly. You know, you jump in a Golf R, for example, or say at Leon 290 or whatever, and you're going very quick, very easily. With one of these, nothing happens until you get to about 5,000 RPM. I mean, I'm pretty sure my girlfriend's 1.6 diesel Focus would keep up with this to, you know, 4,000 RPM, but then when it gets going, it's really, really rewarding power.
And
I think that's what Renault Sport owners like. Your VTEC owners are like that. Anybody that's got naturally aspirated cars love, you know, naturally aspirated power. It's very rewarding, isn't it? So
definitely. And that's, as I say, I've never driven one of these, so I'm kind of desperate to experience the old-fashioned, rev the nuts off it, and yeah, that's it.
By all means, mate, that's what it's made for, so you're very welcome to have
it home. So what we'll do is just, if you drive first, then we'll swap, and I'll have a little blast and see what we think. Yeah.
I don't think there's never going to be a car ever again where you can have a 2-litre 16-valve engine
in like this size
in a car this size.
Normally aspirated. Those days are
just doesn't
are fully gone, aren't they?
Just doesn't happen anymore.
That's what makes it special, isn't it? It's like
yeah, absolutely. It's a weird one.
You can't get away from the weight and the size of this type of car. They just don't make them like maybe like the Up GTI or something. But everything's massive these days, and we're like sat in here, and it's just basic and like old-fashioned. Your window lines are low.
Yeah.
There's loads of visibility.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you're little on the road, and you can just throw it everywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you don't get that from many cars anymore, do you really? It's
no, not at all.
And that is the thrill of it.
Put that down a couple of cogs. That's 5,000 RPM, and then you just keep it on the boil.
I'm a nervous passenger, man. Please.
It's all right. I'm not going to, but you know what I mean. I'm not.
Oh dear.
It's more frantic, but the thing is though, I could have gone round that corner in a Golf R, and we'd been having, classic FM on, and we'd
I'd just still shit myself.
Really?
I shit myself every time I get in a car with you.
Come on.
But it reminds me, I know it's a ridiculous comparison,
but
you look at like a Porsche Turbo or a GT3.
Yeah.
You want pure driving,
Yes.
you want that last 1,000 RPM to sound like the engine is giving it everything it's got, and you're trying hard, and it's like the whole theme and package of it is...
The best way I can describe it is it's one of those cars that gives you the fizz.
Yeah.
It's just got a real
Gets
fizz.
your hair standing up.
It's got a real fizz about it, and it's nice. And the other thing with it as well, with these couple of modifications, with the induction kit and the exhaust, it makes it nice to kind of drive slowly as well, which is kind of a bit of a weird contradiction. But
you get the rawness at any speed, to be fair. Like, you can just feel it's like...
Well, it's
like a puppy, like,
100%.
dying to cock its leg, literally.
100%.
Which we're renowned for. Which
100%.
I felt like we did round that bend, to be honest.
Well,
I'm sure it wasn't even close.
You probably want to go, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Clutch there, innit?
Clutch is heavy on this.
Jeez.
Clutch is heavy, yeah.
The driving position isn't like... they don't rave about it, do they? That's one of the things.
Driving position's weird.
Big wheel.
Yep.
Pedals close.
Yep.
I'll get a bit closer, actually.
Yeah. This is nice.
Yeah, I quite like that.
I like this. Do you know what?
Range Rover.
Range Rover.
In conclusion, the Clio 182 is a Range Rover.
It's basically a Range Rover. Big steering wheel is very obvious.
It is big, isn't it?
Very obvious.
Especially compared to maybe in a normal car, because the car's small.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a bus wheel in like a super mini.
Steering wheel's huge.
Yeah.
So big. It's a joke. Well, the steering wheels are somewhere.
Bit of a harsh kick change. There's a little bit of play in the wheel, like it doesn't.
It's not as direct as you think.
I was expecting like.
Yeah, you were.
There's actually a little bit of.
Yeah.
Like it's not quite as sharp on the steering as I thought.
No. So two things there. So first thing is the size of the wheel is ridiculous. When you stick a little murmur on these things, it does make it a lot better. The second thing is it's got a set of Toyo T1Rs on the front, which aren't our preference, but they were brand new when we got it, and it doesn't go out all the time. So we just thought, well, we'll just run with the Toyos for a bit, and then it's actually having Michelin's on it tomorrow, so that might make a difference. But and again, I don't know.
I mean, that's the first thing that I noticed.
Compared to a 200, again, this is the other thing with a 200. 200's very much
more direct,
so much quicker, so much quicker. You know, this thing it's a bit more. The steering wheel isn't quite as quick.
So, like you say, there's not much, and then you really start cranking it up, and it just got more than you. You think actually at 6 you feel like I need to change, but it's actually like keep going. And that's
the thing is, what I noticed with the 182 is the 200 is ready all the time. It wants to go all the time. It always feels like it's in the mood. People will probably disagree with this, but I think this car comes alive when you're at 9/10 or 10/10 driving to a point where you probably wouldn't feel comfortable driving someone else's car.
Jump into my else's car and get to that point.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But when it's your own thing and you really
spend a bit of time with it.
Yeah, and you grab it by the scruff of the neck. Like when we went to.
That's got a limiter in it.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I feel like I'm going too fast.
It's about 7,250, 7,250 or something like that, I think.
The heel and towing's nice. It's
lovely, isn't it?
Throttle response is incredible.
That's the thing about it,
Wham,
wham, you know.
So I know people moan about how close the pedals are. I actually think that works.
Yeah, it works real nice.
You don't really have to do much, do you, to blip the throttle?
It works real nice.
Yeah.
It works real nice, yeah.
And driving position, actually,
you get used to it.
I like it. Like, it's not. You are a little bit on the car, but visibility-wise, I'm like, you're on it. You can see straight down the country road.
Absolutely.
I didn't know what to expect. I genuinely didn't. Like, I've driven a few nice cars, but
the thing is that you got to remember it's a 15-year-old Renault.
That's the thing, and that makes you feel bad as well when you're at 7,500 revs.
I can get into the girlfriend's Focus diesel, and that car, I'm pretty sure, would keep toe-to-toe with it around a corner because of the way tyres and all that shit's come on in the times. But when you really grab this thing by the scruff of the neck, you're probably not going as quick as something else, but you're having so much fun. It just feels heroic. It's brilliant.
I felt like I was giving it quite a bit then, and there was a Ateca behind it, and he was still there the whole time. I don't know if he was trying, but like, the good thing is you are in your head. You feel like God. They're not warp speed, but
it's not.
You're not breaking you're not breaking the law.
It's not that quick.
No, you're not making that much ground, are you really? But you feel like you are.
You feel like you are.
That's what's special.
It gives a lot of confidence when you feel.
I do feel. To be honest, I feel like I trust it already. I feel like I know where its limits are.
Exactly it. You trust it. You trust it.
You feel like whatever it behaves and whatever it does, you know it's predictable.
Yeah.
You don't feel like it's trying to kill you, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
The main thing for me doing this video is totally different to the content we've normally done on some cars, but
Porsches,
like, if you love cars, you've surely got to have a soft spot for a Renault Sport.
Everyone loves a hot hatch.
You have to, and I've not had much involvement with them. And for me, the big question, if you've got that £5 budget to buy a Renault Sport, is it a 182?
Yeah.
Is it 200? It's a big dilemma for me.
People don't really know this. People think big 2-litre engine, it's going to guzzle a load of fuel, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. Yes, if you drive it like a knobhead everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you stick it in fifth gear, if you'll notice it's got a very close first, second, third and fourth, and then when you get into fifth, it's kind of
quite long.
Very long geared. So you actually find that you can return 45 miles to the gallon in this car.
Wow.
And that's no word of a lie.
It's got to be the weight. That's got to be the.
It's the weight.
It's not carrying much around, is it? It's
absolutely. And any Clio 172, 182 person will tell you, if you're just pootling around, if you're just going up a main road or something like that, you will get 45 miles to the gallon out of one of these, which is mad, really, isn't it? But
to be honest, like, I'm shocked at how easy it is to.
Yeah.
I don't know, as I say, I don't know what I was going to expect, but it's more luxurious than I expected. Weirdly,
I don't think anyone's ever said that about a Clio 182.
I think in my head I had it like the raw race car go-kart,
Yes,
so that's
yes.
maybe why.
Yes. Maybe
So I'm shocked.
Maybe a 172 Cup next.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the next video.
maybe this isn't
But-
raw enough.
But a 200, you'll never get over. I never got over 26 miles to the gallon in that car, and I tried
mad, isn't it?
so hard. And
Is it the same engine?
Yeah, it's a different
modified version, but
modified version
so
of the
that's
F4i.
mad that that's such a difference in MPG.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I mean, what are they?
Absolutely
200 kilograms heavier, probably.
ridiculous. Probably, yeah. I mean, I think this is sub a ton.
Which is mad.
think
isn't
this
it?
is
Don't hear that
950 kilos,
other than like
yeah.
Lotuses and stuff. It's like that's unheard of these days, isn't it?
It's just small. It's a small car, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and no like safety regulations like there are now, and very few airbags, and
Yeah, absolutely. But you see what I mean? Though? It's just nice to sort of just run through the gears and just.
you still get that mechanical sweetness from it, even just third, fourth at low revs,
Yeah,
little blip,
that's it.
getting better.
Absolutely, mate. Getting used to
Turn
it.
in.
That's it.
Oh,
That's it.
so once you're weighted up, the steering feels nice.
Yeah, that's
that
what-
initial turn-in just isn't as sharp as I thought.
That's exactly what I. That's
when you're in the bend,
Yeah.
it's much sharper.
Yeah.
Like then the adjustments are nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of that is to do with the Toyos, to be honest.
Do you reckon?
I think so. This car was designed for Michelin's, and to be honest, these Toyos, to any, if I don't know, somebody might have the same opinion, but I think Toyos are awful in the wet.
Right.
I think they're dangerous in the wet. This car will, I don't know, just if you've had a downpour after a dry spell, it's just lethal on a roundabout. You know,
Yeah.
It's got Continentals on the back still, which again. I hate it when the tyres don't match, and I like them to be good
Oh, yeah.
brands. It's having 4 Michelins tomorrow, so it's a
Perfect.
little bit of a shame you couldn't try it on them.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, I think the Toyos are probably partly to blame. They're okay. Yeah, they're okay.
Be
Credit
interesting to see how much difference it makes.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
Really,
but
actually.
yeah, cool. But in my opinion, yeah, it is definitely comes alive when it's weighted up.
Yeah,
When you're sort of, like I say, when you're on that 9/10 and you're just adjusting it slightly.
Yeah, I felt that around those bends then. That was like, oh, hang on, that's nice.
And it's really easy because it's not twitchy because of the size of the steering wheel,
Yeah,
which is
so
weird.
it has
saying
its
that,
benefits.
really.
Maybe
It
that's
does,
why they
yeah.
signed it off and went, let's put that thing in there.
Exactly.
And again, you drive Aston Martins daily and whatnot,
Yeah.
and like you jump in a hot hatch or a hatchback, and you just cannot get away from how good they are. Like it's just the perfect setup for a petrol head, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
There's just something about a hot hatch that just ticks all the boxes.
down a country lane like this. Like,
Yeah, because I think if I won the lottery, I would still have a hot hatch of some
all day,
description.
every day.
Like,
You'd have
you know.
every single one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 2000s. I think the 2000s. Oh, go on, you'll enjoy this, Ben.
That is a nice looking bend. Might have been a first gear job, but
No, second's fine.
I do like it. It does put a smile on your face, doesn't it? You
It just
can't.
makes you happy.
And pound per smile, it's like
Makes you happy. This car.
Yeah.
It does make you happy.
it's welcome at any car meet. It's welcome with all that lot.
Yeah.
Like it's irrelevant how much the car costs. This thing
Yeah.
is respected, and
Everybody likes them. I think anything from a middle-aged man with lots of money and McLarens and Ferraris and all, Range Rovers would still love a go in one of these. And I think even your young lads who dream of these cars love these, and the likes of me, you and me, who grew up around your 2000s modern classics. Do you know what I mean? That was our era. That's what we loved. And that was our thing. So it's part of that lot, really.
right. So I think kind of gone over everything we wanted to go over.
Yeah.
Kind of got a final question, really. The summary of the video.
Yeah.
You've got £5,000 to spend on a Renault Sport.
Yeah.
Now, based on your experience, where's your money going?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think it's really, really close, and it depends on who you are, what you like doing, your lifestyle. But my lifestyle is I like spirited driving on the road. I'm not a massive track day goer. I would pick a 182 over a 200 Cup. I massive, very difficult between a 200 full fat and a 182 full fat. 200 Cup, for me, that's a different kind of car. That's a very hard car. It's very difficult to drive. Not difficult to drive, it's just very harsh.
Yeah.
I prefer living with this car more often. I think it's just I don't know. I just prefer it. I just think it's a bit softer. A 200 would be the car that I'd probably choose to go to Wales in and go for a bit of a blast around for the day. But I think every day, yeah, I would pick a 182 Cup. I just like it. It's just, I don't know, in my opinion, got a bit more character. Yeah, I just think it's a very cool car.
So for me, you mentioned a few times that you prefer the 182 because it's more usable,
yes.
Which is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
with it being an older car.
Yeah,
but I understand that because it does feel quite soft and compliant on the road.
Yeah.
So for me, you'd buy this sort of car for, it's going to be a second car, I think, for like you just said, a Wales Blast.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I have a massive soft spot for a 200, so I think my money has to go down that route.
I can't blame you for that.
Yeah.
I cannot blame you for that, because I loved my yellow one so much. I miss that car every day. And if I won the lottery, I'd go out, you know, in my collection of probably old shitty French cars.
Yeah.
I would have a yellow Clio 200 full fat. I loved that car with the Recars. It was just, I think that car is just probably as close to the real man can get to a 911 GT3.
Yeah.
You know,
when we talk, how much of a compliment is that to put a Renault Sport? That's twice the GT3 comparisons come up.
Yeah.
And you're spending £5,000 or £6,000. Like, that just shows what this thing can, and the 200 can punch so far above its weight. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Like, it's been a bit of an eye opener for me. This is it's softer than I thought.
Yeah.
But what really, when it comes alive is when you're mid-bend and you get that feel from the old-fashioned steering, no electric steering, and you've got that last little bit, like the cams open, it's just ridiculous at that top rev. So it's an interesting one. But anyway, thank you for letting me have a little blast in your 182. Much appreciated, and hope you like the video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.